Well, of course, the original movies, everybody's always there's still a lot of things in the original movies that don't make sense, uh, but people seem to put up with. But one of the things that people always tell me that doesn't make any sense is why would why did the Death Star have that kind of weakness? And to me, that pretty much makes sense. That it was an exhaust port. I mean, it's you put a bomb in the exhaust pipe of almost any vehicle, and it'll cause a chain reaction that'll probably screw it up. And so that doesn't seem like that weird of a deal to me, especially when they say it right in the movie that the Death Star is so big that they never thought that they never planned for a small scale attack because they never thought anybody would do something like that. And I don't know, to put it, even though it's kind of a grim example, uh, just think about 9/11. Just think about how we have this the United States, we have this gigantic military. We have nuclear bombs that could blow up half the world. We have all sorts of defense missiles, and God only knows. You got all this super technology, and one of the biggest attacks we've ever had since Pearl Harbor was done by a bunch of guys with box knives. That's just classic, and that's really speaks to if you're going up against someone who's just too big to take head on, you got to get crafty like that, and I don't see why an attack like that wouldn't work. I think that was probably one of the smartest things in the whole movie. The Death Star itself, I'm kind of torn in between. The idea of a Death Star, the idea of having a weapon that could destroy a planet, I mean, it seems really stupid. In a lot of ways it really is. I mean, planets are valuable. I mean, there's so many resources, and just a space that has people to live on. It seems like such a great resource, and they're just blowing them up. Even for a war, it seems crazy to just blow them up. But at the same time, a war in general seems crazy to me most of the time. So I don't, uh, maybe blowing up a planet isn't that far beyond. So I don't know. I kind of split half and half on that concept. And of course, there's some things like even when I was a little kid, there were some things that didn't make sense to me about the originals, particularly the whole scene in The Empire Strikes Back where the Empire is chasing the Millennium Falcon, and of course the asteroid scene doesn't make any sense. If I mean the asteroid field in this solar system, I mean if you were standing on one of the asteroids and just looked around, all the other asteroids are so far away. I don't remember exactly how far away, but they're so far away you wouldn't be able to see them with the human eye, and they just look close together. When you look at them from a great distance, and I've even read some things where it would be impossible for an asteroid field to be that thick because the asteroids would just be hitting each other so much that they would just break into little balls. And I don't know, maybe that's where like the ring of Saturn or something came from. I don't know. That's uh, I don't know, but but still, even just as a casual observer, it seems like a it doesn't seem to make sense really. And then when they land on one of the asteroids and go into one of the caves of the asteroids, and Han Solo and Princess Leia, they don't even wear spacesuits. They walk outside. They just have these little um, gas masks that, I mean, they don't even look like it could hold back tear gas or anything. Uh, Let alone, I mean, was that a vacuum? I don't know. I mean, it was. You'd think they would at least assume it's a vacuum because they're in space. And what's really weird about it is it doesn't seem like it would have been that hard for, I don't think they were going cheap on it because they had people in spacesuits all through the movie. I mean, you could say the stormtroopers, Darth Vader and Boba Fett and probably a lot of other people were constantly wearing like some sort of thing that could pass for a spacesuit. You think it wouldn't have been that hard for them to just go and just make a spacesuit for Han and Leia and Chewbacca, to walk around on on an asteroid. Uh, of course, the gravity would have been a lot different, so they would have been walking funny. But I don't know. I guess that's kind of that would have been harder to do. But yeah, even as a kid, I was just like, what? That doesn't make sense. And then, okay, like one of the, and it's like it's weird. This whole scene, in a lot of ways, it's like the best scene in the movie. But there's so many things that don't make any sense about it. Is when they finally think they got the hyperdrive fixed, and they're flying away from the Empire, but of course they don't get it fixed, and so they attach the ship to the side of one of the Star Destroyers to, you've seen it, to hide, and then they hide in the garbage that the Star Destroyer releases, and then fly off. Okay, so they're in the Haas system, and then they go to, I don't know, whatever planet Lando Calrissian was living on in the Cloud City. I mean, that was supposed to be in another solar system. I don't remember the name of it, but I mean, I've read where, that's supposed to be in another solar system. Okay, if their hyperdrive is broken and they can't go faster than light, then how did they even get to another solar system? I mean, I don't know. I think on average, the average solar system, uh, the average solar system, they're like 4 light years away from each other. I think maybe more than that. But it would have taken, even it would have taken decades, at least, if not hundreds of years, to get to the nearest solar system. And let alone, I mean, I don't think the solar systems were right next to each other, but even that, and I've read some things, well, maybe they had an auxiliary hyperdrive or something like that, but still, the whole scene doesn't, the whole scene doesn't make any sense, and it kind of goes back to where, a lot of things in Star Wars, they're not really intellectual, they're more emotional, but I don't know. I still think maybe they could have uh, thought about that a little bit more.